Good afternoon. Good morning. Thank you for watching the KC Auction video blog this week. My name is Jason Roske. I'm the owner of the KC Auction Company, and we do this video every week and talk about all kinds of things in the auction industry, but also about things that are just important and interesting to me. And today, I'm really excited to bring on the show Cate DePrisco. She is co-owner of the Photo Bus with her husband, John. And I got to know Cate a little bit this year because of the corona, right? I've known of her business for a while. But real quick about Cate, she has got a really fascinating background. She has a degree in French from KU. She thought that'd be great to use in the Peace Corps, which I'm going to ask her to talk a little bit. Came back to the area and met her future husband at, I think, a wedding, one of his first times with his original photo bus idea. And they started talking, working together, and this great idea came of that. And we're going to talk about that and more today. So, Cate, thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me today.
Let's talk about the photo bus and your journey before and up to the photo bus. What led you to that, and what were you doing before that, and how did you and John decide it was a business idea that was worth pursuing?
Sure. So before that, like you briefly mentioned, I was in the Peace Corps. I was an English teacher in Moldova, so that French degree wasn't actually something I was able to use because I was speaking Romanian instead. Oh well. I came back and was trying to get into the corporate world, taking experience that was sort of random. So I went into an internship at a marketing company and a local one in Kansas City, wanting to be anywhere but here, but figured I would start where I knew someone or knew some people. So ended up as an intern, and I loved it. And like you said, John's second public event, it was a wine walk on Delaware in the River Market, and he stopped me. We talked for a minute. He was working the photo bus, and then over the next several months, our paths kept crossing, and we started dating. And I eventually got to a point where I was like, "Hey, I think that this can be a lot bigger than an add-on to your wedding photography services," which is how he was currently trying to pitch it, and not for very much money either. So I worked with him to boost it, to make it its own thing. And I had joined him also in the photography world, and we eventually separated from photography mostly and started this full time doing photo booths in VW buses and other ones.
And this is something that you started here, but there's photo buses across the country, aren't they? Are they affiliated with you? Are they just copycats, or both?
A little bit of both. So we launched a Kickstarter in 2014 to try and make some extra money. It was a marketing tactic, but also to make some extra money for a rebuild on our second bus. And that caused a lot of copycats to pop up nationwide. And so that actually kicked us into gear to try and take our brand that we knew that we were successful at, or our definition of success, and extend it to other cities. So we started a licensing concept. Basically, it's consulting. So we help them get started. We give them a guide, a how-to, suggested marketing things, and suggested tools and ways to be communicating with the clients. And then, just turn it into a licensing model. Let them use our logo.
Yeah, and I failed to mention, and people watching, if you have questions, post them. We'll get to them as we can in the episode, or answer them afterwards. You've been interviewed by KMBC, KC SourceLink, Joel Goldberg, lots of other places. I found you online. I really interesting. I watched a video you did with KC SourceLink from just December, before the Rona hit the fan. And you said a really fascinating line to me that resonated as a small business owner. It said, knowing at the end of the day, it's because of us that this company exists. It's good and bad, right? I mean, it's because of us that these things are here, but there's a lot of pressure and demand that comes with that. How are you able to balance creating a business, running a business, being married to your business partner? Because I've done my wife as part of my business too, not as much as she used to be, because that part is really hard. How do you balance all of those things and run a successful business?
I don't. I'm very honest, and I am very transparent, and I don't. So it is very hard. And everything we knew about our industry being completely turned upside down, all of the trends, all of the forecasting, all of the habits of our buyers, we're having to completely reinvent that. And had to downsize our team, which means working even more hours with 2 young children. And so it has definitely been very challenging to do all of it at once. And I mean, the biggest thing that has helped us is we have pretty clearly defined roles. So we really work toward our strengths, but at different times of the year, it causes overwhelm for both of us. So when we're super busy with events, there's a lot of overwhelm on John because all of that is on him. But now that the events are quieter, there's a lot of overwhelm for me with all of the back end business side of it and the marketing and all of that needs to happen. So a plan is what really helps, a strategy, and just knowing that not everything is going to get done. So prioritizing what is most important that's going to bring us the most revenue, because that's what we need right now.
Absolutely. And I think you said something that was just brilliant, and I have to remind myself of this all the time, knowing that everything won't get done.
It won't.
And you can still go to bed and sleep, and it will be there tomorrow or it won't, and nothing really changes.
Every once in a while I do a brain dump, and then all of the things, all of the tasks that I feel like I'm needing to get done that are just weighing on my shoulders, and things weigh very heavily on my shoulders. So I do a brain dump and I list all of the tasks, and then I separate it out into, generally it's this week, next week, this month, next month, this year, next year, and then sometimes maybe, and a probably never. So it really brings clarity for me on, and then when I break it down into even just the next couple of weeks of things that I need to do, the reality that this is why I'm overwhelmed, because I'm trying to do a whole bunch of stuff and I just don't have the time to do it. Yeah.
And during this time, it's been really challenging. I know that there's been, we've done a lot of things in our business, but there have been days where I just haven't been able to do anything. Mm-hmm. Right. There's just not the emotional, mental capacity to barely tie my shoes in the morning, much less take on projects. And there's other days, and I'm sure, and I know you've had this as well for what you've gotten done during this period, where you've been working 18, 19 hours and you're still amped and you're still going and you're excited. Yeah. It's been coined the Rona coaster because it's such, every day still is an issue. So let's talk about, since we've talked about all those things and how the COVID pandemic has really altered all businesses, no matter how good or poorly they're doing now, it's affected every business regardless. Because of that, you came up with this really interesting idea for these sanitation stations. And I see you have an example right behind you, which is awesome. So tell us what led you to the idea that this was something, it seems so different than the photo bus idea, right? And you've done all these things in marketing and the Insta birth on IG and all these other really cool things that you've done. You've not really ever had from what I could tell, you've not had a product-based business before. And now you came up with this idea to make these sanitation stations. Tell us what led to that, and what was your first big hurdle, and when did you realize that it was something that would actually maybe sell and help get through this time?
Sure. So actually, all of the credit goes to my husband, John. He has a friend in Dallas who has been working with a company that had been manufacturing them, and they pivoted almost instantly when this happened. They're a marketing company and had a team, and it was a little bit easier for them to do that. But it helped us have the idea and the connections for how we could actually do this ourselves, because we considered buying from them and trying to be a distributor. And we're like, you know what? We have a great builder in town who has built all of our photo booths. Like, let's see if we can do it for a lower price point for ourselves, so we have a larger profit margin. Sure. And for us, yes, we've never had a product before, with the exception of merch here and there, but we've never really had a product that is actually floating our business. And so it is different. It's so different, and we're still figuring it out. The benefit is we're making it ourselves, so we don't have to be tracking the inventory quite as heavily as if we were having constant distribution, like dealing with that. So thankfully, it's a slower introduction into having a product. But the first major hurdle actually came before we actually said, let's go, because we did receive a couple of loans, and I don't like doing things wrong and making mistakes. So I made sure, like, I had combed through the idle loan, the contract that we signed, and just made sure that we would be able to use the money that we received for this type of a pivot. And that kind of caused friction between my husband and I on deciding whether or not we were actually able to do that. And then I am one to ask a whole bunch of questions before feeling confident in a decision. So I was like, okay, where are we going to source this? What happens when this runs out? How do we handle a warranty? Or how do we make sure that we have a certain product? How are we going to reach out to people? And my husband is a doer. So he's like, no, we're just going to do this. And I was like, but no, because then we're going to have all of these dispensers that are just sitting around. And if we really can't just sell them for $200 on eBay, well, now we've spent loan money. Anyways, it was this long circle and conversation. And that was the initial hurdle for us and just deciding to take the leap. And he went ahead and did it anyways. And so we decided to run with it and figure it out.
I think my wife and you would have similar stories about I just freaking do things and
yeah. But it's fine. It's worked out. We are definitely not in the red anymore with it. It's a slower start than we were expecting. But the companies that we've got these into have just been so wonderful and so supportive. And at the end of the day, our relationship is what's so important to us and our reputation. And we're not going to sell janky stuff created in overseas that's going to break because I don't want my name tied to that.
Right. I've got a quick special guest for bringing real quick. Come on.
Is this your special guest? There we go. Hello, lovely lady.
Hello. Yeah, they're awesome. For those watching, especially in the Kansas City area, and these can maybe be flat packed like an IKEA deal, right, to ship anywhere.
They can.
These are really, you just saw, these are really solid pieces of hardware for your store, and they're great. They'll customize them any way you want. You can see the one that Cate has right there.
And what's nice is how easy they are to change. I don't know if you've had to add more to yours yet, but you just pop the top and you can refill it with any gel or liquid sanitizer.
Yeah, no, I haven't had to refill yet. I mean, we're pretty, I bought these because I use sanitizer in my office regularly anyway, and I thought this was a great way to support somebody today and have something that would last for a long time and look great for our business. I mean, I'm planning on taking this to events that I do around town because it'd be a really cool thing to have sitting there. But they're really solidly made, customized. It's all wrapped. It's just a super cool thing. I think it's wrapped on the back too. I can't move it like that right now. But in fact, the base is so big, I'm going to slide it back out of the way so I can move my chair back in. But they're really a neat thing. And, it's such a really cool thing that you came up with. I'm really impressed with your story about seeing somebody else doing something similar, modifying it for Kansas City, and for your business. What kind of response have you received for it? And people, if you're interested in finding out more about it, you see the website there, the photobuskc.com/hand sanitizing stations, or just go to the photobuskc.com. It's right on the page. Or if you're interested in more info, hello at the photobuskc.com is Cate will respond to that shortly, because you heard she's working a lot of hours, as we all are as small business owners right now. But what kind of response have you gotten? I've seen it in a bunch of different places, a coffee shop, I think in banks. What kind of response have you had?
It's been overwhelmingly positive, which is what is really important to us. So, I mean, like you said, we saw an idea, we're inspired by it. I am not ever one to copy. I have a very hard personal struggle with directly copying somebody. So we really wanted to see how we could do it different. And, the aha moment for me was when I realized that not only is a purchase of this supporting us, but it's supporting 3 other local businesses. It's supporting the maker, it's supporting the supplier of who we get our sanitizer from, and then it's also supporting the wrap shop that puts these together for us.
Right.
And so as soon as that connection was really made, I think is really when it pushed a lot more forward for us. So we're doing 1 and 2. Lambie Homes actually printed 4. So Lambie Custom Homes, which is great because they have them in their model homes. But it's all local business owners supporting local business owners right now. And I mean, at the end of the day, whether you own a franchise or you own a one man or woman shop, one person shop, you're still it's still your business. So it's been really cool. And people love how easy it is to refill the sanitizer. They don't have to worry about back order of a product. They don't have to worry about it going empty because they were just waiting for that final drip to finish out so they wouldn't have to replace a bag and have a bunch of waste. I mean, it's been cool.
Yeah, it really is cool. And I was wondering, could you make this like a tabletop version even, like put it on a counter?
Sure, we've experimented with a flush wall version.
Oh, that would be cool too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You just have mounted someplace and not have to worry about it moving it again.
Yeah.
And so speaking of business ideas and creativity, I saw something just an hour ago on your Instagram about this trike thing. What's this trike? Is this another new idea from the Rona, or is this something else?
No, this is something we already had, and it was also one of those, I'm going to go ahead and do it anyways. But it's, we actually got it for a campaign that a team effort we did with McDonald's. So McDonald's sponsored this, and I don't remember, it was a year and a half ago or so, but it's an insulated trike. So on the back of the trike is this insulated case that we can put water in. Today we'll be putting ice cream in it, and then we can completely brand or wrap the outside with a brand message so that there's another touch point of marketing that's there. There's a big umbrella if it's outside that catches attention. And then we also attach our gift booth to it for immediate social sharing and spreading the message of whatever it is that the company is using it for.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What other little offshoots or areas that you have in development? Do you have anything else in development? Are you looking at other things? Or are you just trying to get through this with what you have?
A little bit of both. So we are also doing, and this is a bad example because it's actually neon, but what we're creating are LED neon signs. So they're not made of glass tubes, so they're a lot more durable. And those are being purchased. We're selling them. We have a couple to rent as well for events, but they're mostly being purchased by couples for their wedding days, and then for people wanting to personalize their child's bedroom. So getting the name and lights, or their man cave. I had somebody do a custom sign for her husband's man cave. So we're pivoting in that way. Everything that we're doing, we're trying to stay relevant within the event industry so that when the events do come back around, I guarantee they're going to look different, but our name is still top of mind. And so that's what we're really trying to do. But I've also started a little bit of freelance myself, so picking up some brand messaging and caption writing for friends of mine.
Okay, very cool. We gotta keep doing this, whatever we can do, right? It's just a matter of, and our business has been fortunate that we've always kind of been online based. But we still have clients and customers we have to work with on a daily basis. So we've been a little bit more fortunate than a lot of our friends right now. But I'm still of the mindset it's getting to the end of the year.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It is. And we were on course to have a really phenomenal year, and we're going to be okay. But next week I take my oldest to college.
Congratulations.
So there's that going on as well. But yeah, this year is so much about just surviving for small businesses. And anything we can do to support each other, I'm all about doing it.
Yeah.
I think we've kind of covered everything. Cate, before we go, is there anything that you want to talk about or mention or bring forward to people who are watching about you, the photo bus, your journey? What do you think? What you think of the business going forward? Anything and anything at all is on the table. I'll let you know
Oh,
last.
I mean, you say that and I'll talk for 3 more hours, but
I got a glass of water. I can go. Let's do it.
I do have water and I've got a refill too. Yeah, I mean, there's so much about our business. You know, we're excited for the events to come back. It's a little scary right now just because they're not happening very frequently. And when they are, we're a little bit nervous. But, you know, if anyone has questions about how to integrate a photo experience into their event, you know, we're happy to answer them. And work with them on a creative way, whether it's just providing a backdrop and so people could do selfies or something like that. You know, but my biggest thing that I really want to push through is just continue supporting your friends, continue supporting your family, continue supporting those around you if you are fortunate enough to be able to have the income, because it does make a difference in our lives and it is super helpful, and we're all grateful for anything, and that's purchasing or just spreading the word.
Absolutely. Well, Kate, thank you so much. And
thank you so much for asking me. This was great.
For anybody who has any questions about event-based photography, combining them, the sanitation stations, custom neons, whatever else you're thinking about, Kate is always available to be answering those questions. She's on LinkedIn, she's on Instagram, she's on Facebook, on her website. I think probably on Twitter. I'm not a big Twitter guy, but you can reach
up with
Kate.
all of them.
You do all of them. So I want to thank Kate for so much for joining us, and I want to thank everybody for watching today. I saw a lot of people watching here and there as we were going along. Next week is kind of up in the air right now. I dropped my son off at college. My wife and I, not just myself. But if you have any questions for us, you always know how to get a hold of us at info@kcauctioncompany.com. You can always call the office at 816-283-3633. And of course, our website is kcauctioncompany.com. Again, I want to thank Kate so much for joining us. Thank you so much for watching us, and we'll see you next week.
See ya. Bye.